So I've been reading a little bit of Russell Brunson, and he's really reiterated to me the power of documenting your journey. It is a excellent and easy precursor to creating the content that your audience really connects with. And I wanted to take a moment to talk about masculine theory. You all know me from masculine theory and the future of masculine theory, where I see it going. And first and fundamentally, I see it being a show. Masculine theory, although I am the host, I never really gravitated towards me being set in that identity. Not that I'm not proud of it, it's just I didn't want it to be exclusively about me. I wanted it to be about issues around men, around masculinity, and men in and of themselves are the persona of the show, right? It's not about Joseph. Joseph as a man, yeah, cool. But it's really about the men and their particular issues that they can kind of align with and resonate with. So let me talk about masculine theory. Let me talk about it as a show. And there could be different maybe hosts of the show. That would be quite cool, but who knows? What is the future? What does it look like? Well, first and foremost, I see it as a political, the content of the show is around a social political story, right? A social political story. Now, this can be in the form of many different things. It could be a video, right? It could be a video. It could be a podcast. It could be a viral TikTok, right? That and the content of those videos is regarding some very tenuous and contentious social political issue like gender, say sexual dynamics, say social, if we talk about social politics, okay? Now that is, I suppose, the draw, the hook, the entertainment aspect of the show is another way to frame it. And then I need to demonstrate value towards the latter end of the video. So I want to demonstrate value to you gentlemen, because I don't want this to become one of those really shallow shows that we're just dunking on these, these stories, how these people are deluded. That for me is not insightful. That for me is not intelligent. That isn't really entertaining, to be honest. And now that I think about it, I do have a unique component to that show because I believe my insight has more depth than the average person. I don't just think that, I know that, because there are a lot of people out here in the space that are not acting how they are speaking. I've talked about the red pill hypocrisy too many times, but I'm going to tell you one more time. These are the kinds of individuals who have on their show OnlyFans models, individuals that are sex workers. They'll bring them onto the show and they'll cuss them out. They'll tell them they're degenerates for whatever reason. And they're the same kind of men who are paying for their content or sleeping with them on the side. And then they're also telling you guys, marry a virgin. Make sure you marry a virgin. So red pill is sleep with as many women as possible. Sleep with as many women as possible. But also make sure you marry a virgin. I can't stand it. And sure, it's entertaining for you guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I do watch the content in terms of, getting ideas for, the content of my channel. But I believe they're missing such a big window of opportunity to give you something valuable, to actually, pass out that particular story or idea or conversation and go, right, here's why I believe this particular way of viewing the world is not going to be conducive to your life, to the holistic health of your life in the future, your quality of life in the future, for these several reasons, right? And this is a story that I can imbue on you as the audience to take in as an example, like you're watching a kind of organic story, or you're living with me vicariously through this particular story, and then you can implement that story, that reference point into your life. And then in the future, when that particular event or similar context arises, let's say the context is something like, don't date an OnlyFans model because she'll ruin your life. The moment you go on 4 dates with a woman and then you find out on the 5th date or just before you're on a I don't know, you find her on Instagram, you realize she has an OnlyFans, part of you emotionally goes, but we had a really good connection. Maybe I can talk her out of it. Where you can, before you get to that stage, you can look at me, you can look at the show, and you can go, no, that is a dumb idea. That is a dumb idea. And you are going to be sacrificing your self-respect when you do that. And that is a mistake you cannot afford to make. That's the value. That's me trying to demonstrate some kind of value here. And of course, these are all colored with all the material that I've read. You know, I'm an avid reader. I sit on this chair every single day and I read about, 100 to 200 pages of various different books. Not all the same book. I like to go back and forth and color that in with the content, and also give alternative perspectives of view, which will lead to me hopefully not being an ideologue, because I don't want to be an ideologue. I don't want to sit here on my ivory tower and tell you I've got the perfect way made out, because there may be other individuals who have a more insightful way of living, and I should also be sensitive towards that, because it would be irresponsible of me not to allow you the freedom of different thoughts and ideas for you to integrate into your lifestyle and therefore proceed. So that's how I see masculine theory work. The two pillars is content, social, political issues that lead to real life events that you may come into contact with, supplemented very, very heavily with this large demonstration of my value, my insight, my references from all the other people that color the way I think, my personal experience that will allow you to be informed. That's the key here, is I don't want you guys to be ignorant. Ignorance for me is the only sin. In fact, sin means missing the mark. It means missing the mark. I don't want you guys to not have the knowledge that will make you miss the mark, if that makes sense. I want to give you all the tools that you need in order to make your own decision as a consequence of the information I'm giving you here. This is not just entertainment. This is not just entertainment. I'm demonstrating value. That's the integral part of the channel, of the show, pardon me. Demonstrating value. So I need to think about different ways to demonstrate value. Insights, of course. I think comedic presence is always really, really good to add a little bit of levity to these situations, because there's some heavy topics we talk about. I mean, I've got some videos coming up of some guys who have known their wife for 20 years and now they found their phone and there's videos of them with 7 different men. Like, how, what's the recourse from that? Yeah, so heavy stuff. You need to add a little bit of levity in those situations. Insights, sure. Sources, other sources beyond myself. Sources I would recommend that could be very, very resourceful for you. Because I really believe that though I know the content here is more valuable than a lot of other people that would just have you be entertained by what the entertainment or the video is on the channel, there are other individuals, I believe, who, because of their personality and their life experience, you may be able to resonate with their message a little bit more firmly. So in that way you can, because fundamentally the important part of masculine theory is to imbue in you the insight and paradigm shift for you to live a life that is holistically better. That is my primary concern when you leave the video, is positive emotion. I don't want the individual to feel despair, though it's, I digress, it can be difficult when some of these stories come up with, but part of the refrainment of that despair is in the demonstration of value that I'm giving. So it's horrible story about a man who has been with his wife for 20 years and he finds out she's been cheating. Feeling of despair, outrage, sure, I get it. Demonstrating value. How do we take this particular individual's experience and how do we reframe this? What's the recourse? Because there can be a recourse where things go terribly, horribly wrong. I mean, men going on tall buildings. How do we recourse here for spiritual growth, for personal growth? And allow that experience to bleed into your very cardiovascular system so you don't similarly make the same mistakes and become naive to it. And then the conclusion of the video is you feeling more empowered, more positive, less ignorant. Less ignorant. That's the word. Less ignorant. So gentlemen, I really wanted to not just tell you the focus of masculine thing. I mean, this video is more for me, but also I suppose for you guys is documenting how you're going. I've said many, many times I'm a big fan of talking to myself. I believe it's a really valuable skill to just talk to yourself because it's like a organic, moving journal. That's what it is. This is like an organic journal. So you can see your thought processes, what your values are, where your mind is at the time, and you can start to formulate the path forward through that. And you should be doing the same. And these are, these aren't edited. There's no SEO on this shit either. And you're developing your skill set. So, if you have ambitions to do things that are similar, I highly recommend just documenting your journey. And it doesn't have to be video. It can be on Twitter. It could be... I first started off Twitter as just a personal journal to myself with different ideas. Like, here's one I did the other day is make sure you have multiple workstations that you can switch between, because once you get mundane, once you get bored with one, you can just switch because the environment signals the feeling. So what I do is I have a workstation here, workstation down there, workstation over here. I have another workstation in my bedroom, and I have another workstation, well, various different workstations in coffee shops. So it breaks up the monotony. And again, that is really, really valuable for me. I wrote that for me, but I tweeted that and it's really, really valuable to the other 100 people who liked it. Document your journey. Document your journey. Anyway, guys, God bless and speak to you soon.